Hello, my little sugar plums. Thanks for being here. I'm Kathy. This is Kathy's Country Life, and today, well, this is going to be like a couple a day project. We're going to make ketchup. I'm using my homegrown tomatoes that, as I have collected them, they've ripened. I have put them in a Ziploc bag and thrown them in the freezer. So I took out 7-8 gallons out of the freezer. I can't remember now, but 7-8 gallons. I think it was the equivalent to about 25 pounds of tomatoes. And that's what you needed for this recipe. I didn't weigh them because they were frozen, which would add to the weight to them, but I might be 5 pounds short. I'm not sure, but anyway, we're going to say around about 25 pounds. I got this recipe from Living Traditions Homestead. I follow a lot of homesteading sites, canning sites, preserving sites on Facebook, and somebody asked in one of those groups, I can't remember which one, looking for a good ketchup recipe for canning. And I was reading on the comments because I tried making ketchup a couple of years ago and it was not good. I mean, it was okay, but it just didn't taste like Heinz ketchup, if you know what I mean. So I have been on the search since then to find a good ketchup recipe. But anyway, on this post, several people commented that the Living Traditions Homestead ketchup recipe is what they used and they loved it. So I went over to her YouTube video, watched her YouTube video, printed off the directions, and that's what we're doing. I want to give credit to her at Living Traditions Homestead. This is her recipe. I may have tweaked it just a little bit here and there, but I will post that recipe down below. I'll try to link her video so you can go and watch how she does it with fresh tomatoes. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, I'm at the end of getting all my frozen tomatoes out of the freezer. And they're easy to peel, they just come off. And a lot of the juices go in here, which is what I want because I don't want all those juices in my roaster oven to, it'd take too long to cook down. So I'm just taking the peels off. And I'm going to freeze dry the peels and grind up for thickeners. I've got a mixture of Roma's or paste tomatoes and regular tomatoes. And it's just a messy, messy, messy job. Whew. I didn't start recording until right at the end because I know y'all didn't want to just see me doing this for an hour. And I like how the Romas do. You just cut off the end and you can just squeeze the tomato out. I'll grow more of those next year for sure, for canning purposes. I had about 8 or 9 gallon bags of these tomatoes. And I took them out this morning and I put them in my sink to defrost. They're still very cold. My hands are like freezing. think this is the last one. Sure. Some of these have some really tough cores. And some of these I'm just pulling the flesh out. And that's it. Okay. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to turn this up on 250 and we're just going to let these cook. It's like 4:15 in the afternoon. I'm going to let these cook on 250 through the night and tomorrow, and then we'll come back and see what we got. Okay, this has cooked all night and it's getting thick and beautiful. And so I'm going to go ahead and add 3 cups of chopped onions to this so they can be softening up. And this was 2 onions that I just chopped in my chopper thingy here. Okay, that's 3 cups of onions. That all stirred in. I have cranked up the heat to 350 degrees in my roaster. It's still has a lot of juice in it, so I'm wanting it to cook down more and cook these onions down more. So I'm going to put the lid back on, clean up this mess, and we'll be back in a few hours and hopefully can finish this up. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add all the seasonings and let this cook down some more. It's looking good. Still got a good amount of liquid in there, but we will deal with that a little later. So I need to do 2 cups of sugar. This was about 25 pounds of tomatoes. And I think I'm going to do 1.5 cups. It calls for 2 cups. I'm going to do 1.5 cups. And then we can adjust as we go. It's better to add less and more. Okay, so I've got 1.5 cups of apple cider vinegar. And I'm just going to, it calls for 3 cups, half and half. And so I did a cup and a half of apple cider, and then I'm just going to do a cup of vinegar. And like I said, we can adjust. Calls for 1/4 of a can of good salt, canning salt. I'm going to do just shy of 1/4 of a cup. Okay, and it calls for 2 1/3 teaspoons of garlic powder. I'm going to do 2 teaspoons. And then it calls for dry mustard powder, 1/2 teaspoon. Let's go with do 1/4 and then a little shy of a fourth. And then celery seed, it calls for a fourth of a teaspoon. So I'm just going to do just shy of a fourth of a teaspoon. That just don't seem like a lot of that for this whole recipe. I'm going to give this a good stir, get all that incorporated. And once again, I'm going to let this continue to cook down. It is a process. I'm going to turn it up to about 400. Let it boil away, and then we'll come back in a couple of hours. We'll do a taste test, see what it might be lacking, and then we're going to blend all this up in a blender so it's all nice and smooth, and I'll be back. Okay, here we are, hours later. Got all our seasonings in. I did a taste test of it, and I want to make some adjustments. I think I needed the whole 2 cups of sugar. It's a little bit too vinegary for my palate. It's not overpowering, but the vinegar comes through. So bring it down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the other half a cup of sugar to it. And I do think it needs a little bit more salt, which will help cut that vinegary taste. I'm going to do about a half a teaspoon. And remember to use a good salt. I'm using pink Himalayan salt, but you want something, not an iodized salt. You don't use an iodized in canning recipes. Pickling canning salt, that is good too. And I'm going to add about another half a teaspoon of garlic powder. We're going to get all this mixed in. Okay, I'm going to let this cook for maybe 10-15 minutes and get all that stuff incorporated and dissolved, and then I'm going to do another taste test and see how we are. Okay, let's try it. It's almost there. Needs something. I think it needs a little bit more mustard powder. Hang on. Okay, I'm going to add about a half a teaspoon more of mustard powder. Kind of clumpy. I should have just followed the recipe as is. I was kind of shortening it. And I think that'll do it. Okay, let this sit for about 5 more minutes, do a test, and then we'll blend it all up. That's what it needed. That's good. It's very good. Alright, we're going to put this, I'm going to put it in my Ninja blender, blend it all up till it's smooth, and then I'm going to put it in the stock pot. I think we're going to have to cook it some more on the stove to get it thick like we want it. So we're going to just ladle this in. I think I'm going to do 3 ladles. It's hot, so you don't want it to like explode on you. And if you've got a vent, open it up so the steam will come out. It is coming out. I'm going to do this until I don't see the seeds in here anymore. Still a few more, I see. Okay. And then I'm going to pour it into the stock pot. And we will carry on and continue doing this until I've got it all blended up. Okay, last one. Now then, this is still a little runny from what I would want ketchup to be. So I'm going to put this on the stove on a very low temperature and let some more of this liquid evaporate out. And then we'll can these suckers up. I think my hair's cut off. Okay, I'm gonna fill these up. We're gonna wipe the rims. We're gonna debubble. We're gonna wipe the rims, and into the water bath they'll go. It's 20 or 25 minutes. I'll have to look and see. And then I will have ketchup on my pantry shelf. So excited. And I really do love the way that this tastes. Alright, I'm going to finish doing this. I'll let you know how many we end up with in just a minute. Okay, so ended up with 10 pints of the ketchup, plus had just a little bit left. I just put it in the jar to stick in the refrigerator. And I water bathed them for 15 minutes, which is my elevation. I have a lower elevation. If you have a higher elevation, you need to go for 20 minutes. And so here they are. Oh, did you hear that? They're popping. So here they are. I'm kind of proud of these. These are my babies. Chris tried it. He said they were good. He said I could eat those with crackers. Okay. So here we go. I will post the recipe below, and I'll link the video that I watched on how to do this, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for being here. Bye.